Hi, friends. Welcome back to another episode of the Bizz Bitch Podcast. I'm Jazmin, your host, and once again, beyond excited and honored and totally lit up that you have decided to spend your time on the couch, on your walk with me, and diving a little bit more into the Bizz Bitch world. So, lately, actually, let me take that back. Last year, I would be lying to you if I said that I was like 100% about my content. I just had so much going on that I didn't feel like I had the capacity to always post. However, I've always known it's a really important part and piece of my puzzle in addition to my strongest asset, which is more like the networking community and like what brings me business. But I know it's a way I show up. And this podcast was something that I also knew that needed to be part of my puzzle because apparently a girl likes to yap. But I will say that when you do have really good content as an entrepreneur, you just feel so much more proud to show up in worlds and in spaces and online. And I knew that with my brand photography, which also, side note, is super outdated right now. And I need to also update that, which is coming this year. But the video is part of things. And like, I'm not afraid to get in front of a camera by any means. So that's not my issue. It's more of like time capacity and just like getting in my head a little bit, but also wanting a good amount of my production to be nicer production because I am a brand whore. Um, but so when I say that having someone like our guest today on the podcast, Miss Dalia, in your back pocket is really important, I mean that. And I did her content day in 2025 towards the end of the year. And part of it you've seen because I've been using it to launch this podcast. And when I say it makes you like show up a little bit more proudly, I totally, totally mean that. So I'm so excited to have Dalia on the podcast today. Dalia and I'm going to let you in on a little secret, have recorded this before, and I royally fucked up. She was my first guest, and, things went wrong in the audio and the tech, and it was such a great episode. However, I can't use it. So here we are again, doing it again, but I'm so excited for it because you know what? Who knows what's going to come out of today's conversation? And so I'm super excited about that. So Dalia and I actually have this weird synergy where we've known each other for a lot longer than we've actually like been fully knowing each other. We worked at a sports bar in downtown San Diego in like our younger 20s, I would say. And I was there and then on my way out of there, she was on her way in. And we had this crossover of like 2 weeks, maybe weeks working together, never saw each other again. And then lo and behold, when I started getting into the entrepreneur world, I met the most amazing friend, photographer, Meg Marie, who I started working with. And she kept talking about this girl, Dalia. And I was like, that name is like so unique. Like there's no way. And then she was like, Washington. I was like, I could have sworn that girl was from Washington. And what are the chances that it was the same girl that I had worked with years prior? So when I say the world is really small and we have so much weird overlap, and also to always make sure you leave good impressions and be nice to people, I
Mhm.
mean it because the chances were that we are going to re-come into each other's world was rare, but it did. And I'm so glad that we have. So what I admire about Dahlia is she doesn't just talk about content showing up reels. She shows you how to do it in a really fun, easy, digestible way. And she does it geared towards entrepreneurs because I think where a lot of entrepreneurs get stuck is we look and compare ourselves to content creators who are creating content for more like brands and or just
Mhm.
lifestyle, right? And
Mhm.
that lifestyle looks great. I wish I would have done that when I was younger, missed opportunity, but like when we're creating content as entrepreneurs, we are selling, right? We're educating, we're selling. There's a lot of other pieces that go into it that we need to make sure our content does. And I think you do such an amazing job at making that whole world come around. Other than that, you are always just like the brightest, bestest energy to come into a room. She's a big part of my Bizz Bitch community and a member that I think has come into the community and done exactly what you're supposed to do in a community to listen to people, take care of people, meet up with people on the side, come to anything you can, and just keep a really open heart and mind, which is how you get the best results out of the world. So, before we jump in, who are you? What do you do? Tell us about what you have going on in your world.
Thank you. Hi, everyone. I'm Dalia. Thank you for that introduction. That was really fun. So, I am a video content coach and creator for personal brands. And when I say personal brands, I mean people that really know that visibility matters. And want to spend time and effort on creating a brand that will build relationships and start communities, right? How do I do this? I call myself a video content fairy because I just bring the magic. And they also help you bring out your spark, right? Your personality, because I deeply believe that that's what connects with people. I do this by having VIP content days where you work one-on-one with me, or I have a social content day where that's the one that you came to, where 8 visionary women entrepreneurs meet up at a studio, and you have all these content creation stations with beautiful backdrops, and you have a plan. So everything's catered to you. So you just come in, look beautiful, feel confident, and create content. And then I also have a content mastermind. It's called Content Freedom, where I teach you how to create your own content creation system based on mine, but we align it to your lifestyle because everybody's lifestyle is different. Everybody's capacity, everybody's time is different. So I align it to your time, your capacity, your lifestyle, because I want it to last.
Yeah.
I want you to be sustainably posting and not just scrambling out of nowhere and being like, what am I going to post? What am I going to post? I want you to know your strategy, know everything that you have, and have a plan so you can actually post sustainably and consistently, because that's when leads come in, when you are consistent. Same as networking.
Yeah.
You know, the
It's
more
it's very
consistent you
true.
are, the more people get to know you, and that's when they become clients of yours. So that's what I do.
I love that. And, like, I think the most important part about what you do is you match like the video ideas to the content. Cause I think often, especially with the world of ChatGPT now, like the
Mhm.
captions part is the easier part. But when you have a caption and you go through your photos and your videos and you can't find something that's aligning, how often do most of us just stop right there and you're like, I'm overwhelmed, I'm
Mhm.
good, I'm done, right? Like, I'm not going to do it. And I feel like that's what's made me so much more excited to post recently is like, I have a caption. I'm like, oh, I do have a video that matches this. Oh, I do have something that matches this, rather than feeling stuck on the idea of it.
Yeah.
So before we fully jump into all things content and also the way you grew up, which is like one of my favorite stories and like that world around you,
Thank you.
like, I truly mean the way you have leaned into my community, but also other people's communities. And I've watched you is something that you do not just like socially, but strategically. And I think you realize the importance of it. And I know you've expressed that also to me and others. Like what has community versus just traditional networking or community versus just trying to do business alone? How's that affected and changed?
So I've been part of the Bizz Bitch community since last October, so over a year. Uh, Being in a community that I've been able to like grow relationships with people has been life changing for my business because one, you get to practice what you do. You get to practice saying it over and over again, right? Because you meet new people. And two, you get to also use this community as like a soundboard for ideas, for obstacles, for tools that you could use, for things that save time, things that save money, things, a lot of different things. And that's helped me a lot for my business because it's grown my confidence in what I do, which, there's always, you could be the most confident person, but every now and then imposter syndrome is going to knock on the door. You'll doubt it, but being able to show up consistently and talk about what I do and who I help. And that's another big part too of the community because it reminds you to focus on your mission, not just on the list of things that you do, but to really focus on why. Why do you do this?
Yeah.
What made you start? So it really switched my perspective a lot because we are all real people. We're humans and we're affecting each other when we work together.
Yeah.
So yeah, having the community has been amazing because it's helped me a lot to work on all of these things.
I don't think I could have said it better. I agree. I think it's really what I want to build and also what I look for when I go into things because it's so hard to have when you go to networking events or just events that happen like once a month, you can't really soundboard. You're just too
Mhm.
busy wrapped up in that like high level networking.
Mhm.
Whether what do you do? Like the traditions. You can't be like, hey, by the way, I'm in the middle of a launch. This is what I
Mhm.
need help with, right? And it's kind of this like middle ground of like a mastermind where mastermind's even more targeted and deeper and like this networking part of it. But I equally think that's like the important part. But I just, the way you have dove into it and I've watched your business grow and you
Mhm.
personality wise grow in the last year, for me, I'm like, oh, this is why we do what we do. This is why this is out here in the world. This is why it's such hard work.
Yay!
I love watching you win and all of you guys win.
Thank you. And you're right. I do come to most of the events that
Yeah.
you organize, and I make it part of my monthly thing to look at all the events and see right there and there which ones can I make and which ones I can't, but I need to figure out how to make
Yeah.
because I think it's really important to keep building the relationships. It's not a one-time thing. Same with content.
Mm-hmm.
You have to keep posting to keep building that relationship.
Yeah.
And I love networking.
Yes.
When they told me like that's part of being an entrepreneur, I was like, yes, sign me in. I like that. So I love networking.
Yeah.
So
So, talking about community, I would say your family, Peruvian family, and your
it's true.
roots, right, are probably the first
Yep.
community that you got invited into, were part of, and, really got to see what it's like to see your world around you support you. You have said your family, it was loud, they were social,
Mm-hmm.
the gatherings, the time that they just sit with each other and talk, which I think is such a unique thing, specifically in today's world. Just that the art of sitting around and having a coffee and an afternoon treat, which as Americans, we are absolutely trash at. Europeans, like the Latin culture, all so much better at this,
Yeah.
Australian culture, than we are as Americans. So walk me through like your family and how that's really helped you become who you are today and step into this entrepreneur journey.
Yeah. So I am born and raised in Peru. I grew up, my family is from the highlands, both on my mom and my dad's side, the closest to my mom's side, but they both kind of share the same kind of vibe of community. My mom's side of the family is definitely way more focused on community. They hang out together all the time. But I grew up in the city the
Mhm.
first 7 years of my life. And then we moved into the highlands to the town that my mom is from. It's called Chachapoyas. I don't know if anybody's ever heard of it because it's not super popular, but it's a beautiful town in the highlands of Peru. And I got to grow up from 7 years old to 14 years old there. So, and then we went back to the city. So I got to experience both
Mhm.
sides. And then I also saw how the community that my family had created functioned in the highlands and how they all migrated little by little because it's not about you go and succeed by yourself. It's like you go first and I go next and I go next and you bring me and you like that's how it is. It's not just one person. It's like you bring everybody else
Mhm.
because everybody succeeds together. That's how it is and that's what I learned from an early time. So my family they do this lunches which means it's kind of like a tea time.
Mhm.
It happens around 5 to 6 p.m. and they get together pretty much every night. Whoever can make it makes it, but they hold it at this family building because my family bought this building and it's 5 stories, and there's family on each floor.
I think we need to do more of that. I really Or,
And
like, with friends even, like, oh
yeah,
god,
how
I would
fun would
love it
that
if my
be?
apartment complex was filled with my friends. Oh, it would be so fun.
That would be so fun. So, and it is really fun. It's also, I mean, they get into,
Some
to
drama.
learn some stuff about you that you might want to hide sometimes, but it is what it is, right? But you definitely relationships grow stronger, faster. But yeah, in that building, the first floor is where my grandma and grandpa live. And then the other floors are aunties, uncles, cousins. And then my mom lives about a 10-minute walk from there in a building where she and my uncle live. And then my other uncle lives right next door to that building. My other auntie lives next door to the family building. Everybody's like really close walking distance. So every night, everyone is invited to come to lunche, which happens on the first floor
Mhm.
where my grandpa passed away, but my grandma's still there. And it happens on the first floor. And I love it because it happens in like a garage area. This is not even like a living room. There is a living room
Yeah.
that we could all go in, but they kind of set it up in this garage area because the car's not there all day. They only use it at night for the actual car. And they have figured out how they like bring out a couch and then a bunch of like little chairs. And then a table comes in out of nowhere. And then, you wouldn't realize it, but now it's a living room.
Yeah.
And they all know already what to do. It's super quick. They know where to hide everything when
Yeah.
they're not using it. It's really cool to see it happening. Whenever I come in, I join the lonchera and I sit down. The first time I just sit down and look at everything because it makes me feel really proud of my family to
Yeah.
see how they work together without having to say anything. Like everybody just starts working. My auntie goes in the back, starts making the coffee. My other uncle goes to the panaderia, the bakery, and grabs some bread. And everybody always shows up with something, avocado or maybe some cheese, or there's always something. So you all collaborate to make this beautiful tea time. And the main thing to do is just talk. We just hang out. Just sit there and laugh and hang out. What did you do today? Or like that's all. There's no agenda. It's like having a podcast, basically.
Yeah.
But in real life. So it's really fun to see that, how quickly or how they have kept that throughout the years.
The tradition.
And
of it.
and that's where I learned community, because from the beginning, that's how it always was. Yeah. But for my mom, it's always being important to be with family, be in community. So that's how important it's always been. So when I came to the States and I was alone for the first time ever, because even at home, there will always be people like showing up randomly. Because a lot of family. It's like an open house. Yeah. And you always got to have food because you have to offer food. But when I first moved to San Diego, I first lived by myself. I was in a studio apartment and I bought a TV because it was there was so much silence, and I just felt very alone doing stuff. So I bought a TV and I will leave it on the whole time while I was doing stuff, just to feel like I was in community. So, but that's when I finally realized, like, wow, they work really hard on keeping this community going, because they all put a little bit of their efforts to do things. It's not like, oh, you do all of it or you do all of it. It gets rotated, or they all do it together. That's how they take care of my grandma too. Like all of the brothers and sisters like rotated.
That's so special.
But yeah.
So special. Or would you say you grew up as a mommy's girl, daddy's girl, or kind of like an equal split?
Good question. I would say daddy's girl.
Daddy's girl.
Yeah. My dad is he loves saying nice words. Like he has the gift of
like words of affirmation.
Yes. But he's very good at it. Like, and he will always call me his princesa guerrera, which means warrior princess. Always.
Oh, that's so sweet.
Always. And my dad always tells me how proud he is of me, always tells me how much he loves me, how grateful he is. My mom's the total opposite. For my mom, I have to like pull it out. Like, can you tell me you're proud of me? Does this make you proud, Mom? Does this make you proud? And she's like, yeah, of course. I'm like, why don't you tell me? Because she shows it differently. She's more acts of service. So, and she also enjoys spending time together. That's why we travel together.
Yeah, which I think is so sweet and so special.
Yeah.
Would you say that you and your mom have similar personalities?
No, not at all. I'm more similar to my dad than I am to my mom. My mom is funny, actually, because my mom is very quiet, reserved. She doesn't like to be center of attention. She doesn't like to create any kind of, problems or any kind of anything. Like, she doesn't want anything to be called on to her. She just always wants to be hiding, basically. And then here comes along Dalia, wanting to always try new things and wanting to like do all kinds of random stuff. And I definitely was a challenge for her, because I took her outside of her comfort zone for sure. And I always been very good at expressing my opinions. And at first we kind of, knocked heads, but we quickly understood that we weren't going to be thinking the same ever. Like, it will be hard for us to always agree, but something that we agreed on is that we can respect each other's opinion and stance. And that's what has helped us still build a relationship, even though a lot of times we still don't agree on a lot of things. But the fact that we respect each other is what helps and what works.
You said that last time we had a conversation and when I asked you, how do you travel with your mom? Because you've done some pretty big trips.
Yeah.
And I'm about to do 2 weeks in the Philippines with my mom. And I was like, Dolly, what is your advice? Because I, I get along with my mom a lot, as most. She's also still my mother. Like there's different ways we travel differently, different
Yeah.
ages, right? And I was like, how do you do it? And you said that you have just realized that you're going to be different. And it's also so special what she's getting to do and how she shows up. So you've just learned to align yourself to her level rather than be jealous, envious, upset that she can't do some of the things
Yeah.
and how you like to travel.
Yeah.
And as I've been planning this trip, I just like keep that in my mind. I'm like, okay, this is really special for my mom. I am younger. I'm going to have to say no to things that I typically would love to do.
Hmm.
But like that doesn't mean this trip won't be really special. It's just going to be different. And I'm more excited about it now than I was. I regret not traveling like this with my dad before he passed away. So that's also a way I'm looking at
Hmm.
this trip is like I get to do this with my mom. Like how lucky am I?
Yeah,
Um
it's really amazing to be able to have that time to spend together. And the minute that's what I had to learn, that the minute that you kind of separate the feeling from the experience and just kind of focus heavily on how can I make this experience really fun with this person, you know?
because it's different than traveling with your husband,
Yeah,
with my boyfriend, with my friends
or alone.
solo,
Yeah,
which
exactly.
is our favorites.
Yeah, there's going to be a lot of things that you're not going to be able to do, but that's fine
Yeah.
because there are things that you're going to be able to do with your mom in this specific place that you would have never thought of,
Yeah.
you know? So that's very special. And I had to I had to keep reminding myself about that because there were a lot of things that I wanted to do that my mom wasn't about. And I was just like, okay, you know what? It's fine. Also, the mindset of abundance, right? The fact that you can know that you can go back there.
Yeah.
You know, we can always travel back with whoever else I want to travel back
Mhm.
with. But before, I used to think more of like, this is the only time I'm
Yeah.
going to be here. I need to see everything, that's how my sister travels. I need to see everything because I'm never going to be back here. And we were in Thailand, so it is kind of far to go
It
there.
is. But
Working
it's
on that
always there.
mindset,
Yeah.
the abundance mindset too. Like, no, I can go back.
You can definitely go back
Yeah.
there. So it's funny, me and my mom's relationship is opposite. She was the loud, crazy one, and I feel like growing up, I quieted myself and I was
Mm,
shy and kind of came back because, like, in a way, she embarrassed me in situations, and
mm,
that was just obviously my own thing. And she was like the loud person in situations and laughing and like asking strangers random questions. And when I was younger, I wasn't ready for that space of it, and so I feel like in a way,
mm,
growing up, it made me a little bit quieter for a while until to be honest, I started working in customer service, which is where I feel like I learned my voice and my confidence again, right?
mhm.
And would you say opposite? So your mom is quiet, so it almost while you were growing up, it made you want to like even be bigger and
Mm,
more personality?
Huh. That is a great question. Don't really know, but I remember being pretty quiet when I was little. When I was like, I want to say up to like probably 12 years old. I remember just being quiet. I didn't have a lot of friends. I had like a couple of friends,
Mhm.
and I was all about my homework, making sure that my homework was good. And I always wanted to get A's, but I had from the beginning always put my value connected to like how much can I achieve?
Mhm.
Because that's the scarcity mindset.
Yeah.
You know, when you come from a family that doesn't have a lot of money, it's like that's what they learned. That's
Yeah.
what they're teaching me. So those were things that I had to grow out of, but and coach myself, and I still do. And I don't know if you guys know what a matinee is,
Mm-mm.
but basically in Peru there was this club that will open from 3 p.m. to 7 p.m. just for teenagers to go dance there. And then just, it was really fun. And then they will close and then reopen at 9 for adults,
Okay.
you know?
We need
So,
more of that.
right?
That sounds like a really healthy thing to do.
It was really fun. But I mean, a lot of times I skipped practice for volleyball to go there. Or sometimes I'll go there and then I'll go straight to volleyball after. And back in that time, you can smoke cigarettes inside. And
Mhm.
as a teenager, everybody was like,
Yeah.
that was the thing because you can drink. So I remember people will smoke inside and everything will smell.
Yeah.
And I will go to practice right after. And my teacher will be like, I know where you're coming from. You're about to do a 50 laps. I'm like, nah. Ever since the first time I got invited to one of those, I think my personality just started coming out because I
Mhm.
started being exposed to more people that like to have fun. And that's when I started kind of like coming out a little bit. But my mom, she's always kind of being so reserved, and she got taught to not stand out. And I always felt that I couldn't fit in because the box that was given to me was very small, and my personality has always been bigger than that. And that's why I wanted to come to the States too,
Mm.
because I wanted a bigger world with less judgment and less putting me into like a little box.
Yeah.
I just wanted to just
Opportunity.
explore. I
Yeah.
wanted the opportunity to explore and just see what happens.
Mhm.
Who am I, which I didn't really get that much in Peru. But I'm not blaming anyone. It's
Yeah.
just the way that it
Sure.
was. And now actually it's so much more open because of social media, and
Yeah.
everything gets there faster. But back then it was a great opportunity for me to come here, and I opened up way more here in the States. But when I was a teenager, I did do a lot of little little adventures that my mom was not happy about, but
We all.
you live, you
We
learn.
all I was like, didn't we all? I was definitely doing some
Yeah.
adventures. Oh, I'm at the movie theater, but I'm here. Oh, Mom, I'm
Yeah.
going to go on a road trip at 15 years old and drive from Arizona to California with my best friend. She's
Oh
like,
my
"Wait,
God.
what?" Yeah.
I got a piercing. Oh, I got a few piercings, but I got a piercing. The third piercing that I got was under my lip. And at that point, my mom had already seen two. I had two piercings in my tongue back then. And when I got the first one, she didn't even notice it because I was just trying not to
Yeah.
show it. When I got the second one, she did because it was harder. They were like right next to each other. And she told me, "You don't you ever get anything else, and you better watch it around the family that they cannot see it."
Yeah.
And I went and got a third piercing, and it was like a hoop.
Like a lip ring.
Yeah, like a
Yeah.
lip, like hoop ring.
Yeah.
So it was very obvious.
Yeah. There's no hiding that
So
one.
there's no hiding that one. And I got home, and my mom immediately stopped talking to me. She gave me the silent treatment, which is my mom never does that.
Yeah.
She has to be really, really upset to do that. And I have such a good relationship with my mom, like such a close relationship, that after a few hours of her doing that, I don't even think it got to a day, So, and that's where boundaries come in, and that's how we keep our relationship growing, because we have a very good understanding of each other's boundaries.
Which is so important as a mother and
Mhm.
daughter, because just because they are our mothers or just because it is your child, it's important to have boundaries at a
Yeah.
lot of ages. And obviously, there's safety and all those other things. But I think that's what me and my mom like. I always say, me and my mom are very open. We talk very openly about like sex and bodies, but like, I'm not going to tell her the super intimate details of my sex life
Yeah.
like I would a best friend. Like, she
Yeah.
knows, like, she knew, and like different people I was sleeping with, or like when they weren't my boyfriend, but I'm not going to tell her like the things I tell my
Specifics.
girlfriend. I mean, it's kind of boundary. And I was like, no, mom. And equally the same way back. I don't want to know that about
Yeah.
you either. And like, that's okay. But it's like, I'd like to know that my mom also gets pleasure and has sex, because like that's a full woman. And I want to know she like is fulfilled and all those, but I
Yeah.
don't want to know the details of it.
Yeah.
I also had a lot of piercings really early on. I think all my piercings were between 15 and 18. And
Yeah,
I
same.
used to trade good grades for piercings. I'd be
Oh,
like, I will get a 4.0 this quarter, but I want my tongue pierced. I will get a 4.0, but I want an industrial. And
okay.
my dad was the one who used to take me for all my piercings, which is so funny because
That
he
is so
hated it
cute.
the most. But he was always like, all right, you did what you said. You got a 4.0. Like, okay, you could, I guess you deserve it.
Yeah, you get a reward.
So when you moved to the States, was that for college? What was that for? And I remember being shocked by what you went for school for, because it feels so perfectly aligned to where you are in this world in some ways and not in others. So
Yeah.
give me a little bit like a quick synopsis of what you went to school for, and then how you've kind of pivoted into the entrepreneur content fairy world.
Yeah. Um, so when I came to the States, I came with a J1 visa, which basically is for just 3 months to stay here. It's for college students that are signed up for college. They come here and they give you a job with a company, right? Like they give you a job, they give you transportation, they give you a place to stay. And for those 3 months, you get to work and bring money back. That's how I sold it to my mom. Did I bring money back? No, I did not. So I spent it all. But that's how I came here. And on the second time that I did this, because I did it for the first time and it was so fun that I wanted to do it again. But the second time I did it, I met this guy who immediately at work, he gave me this huge smile and he was just so amazing. We started dating and I ended up staying a little longer. I got like a visa to do tourism to just stay with him more. And our relationship grew and it was kind of like my first real relationship because I had boyfriends, but it wasn't like that, you know? It grew quickly. So we got to a point when we were like, okay, well, you either go back and we have a long distance relationship or what do we do? And so we had a few days apart. He ended up proposing. I ended up saying yes, even though my gut was like, what are you doing? But I just went for it.
Gotta live in the moment sometimes.
I just went for it. And I was 18 at that time and he was 23 or 19 maybe. I was 19 maybe. After that, I started thinking like, okay, well, what am I going to do while I'm here? In Peru, I was going to college for visual communications, which is basically to work in TV, but behind the scenes.
Yeah, like production.
Like production, exactly. Which I only picked because all the other options were non-viable. So I was like, this looks fun. Let's do that. But I had only done like the general studies part. I hadn't like actually been with the cameras and stuff yet. And that was the part I was excited about.
Yeah.
And then I came here. But when I came here, I started thinking, what could I do? I signed up for graphic design. So I went to a technical graphic design school. Didn't love the fact that I had to be on the computer a lot to design and got into the world of restaurants. So I was serving and bartending for 14 years. But during that time, I had different ventures, like trying different things. And then I also went to school for media and animation at the Art Institute. But I didn't finish that because I loved the beginning part, which was sketching and storytelling, and all of that was really cool. But when we got into the computer thing where you had to be there all day to create 1 minute of animation, I was like, I'm out. This is too much. I need to be like talking to people. Like, this is too much. And so I got out of that. But in my mind, there was still like, I want to do something with video. I just didn't know what it was yet. And then my friend Meg, who you mentioned, Meg Marie, she's one of my best friends. She is a brand photographer. Plus, she's also a business coach. But she, during the pandemic is when Instagram Reels started to get like more popular, and she's a visionary. So she told me like, hey, would you want to come to one of my mini sessions where I have, 8 to 10 people there and you'll do video after I do the photos? And I always being a yes girl. So I was like, sure, what do I have to do? Right? I don't really know much about this, but I'm down. Like, well, tell me a little bit. She gave me a little bit of guidance and then I just showed up. And honestly, it just felt like everything clicked. Like all of my years of working in the service industry and being able to just talk to anyone, to spark conversation with anyone. And then all of the stuff that I learned about community at home and how to make someone feel welcome and like, part of something. I also like practice that there, and things that I've learned on media and animation, everything. It just kind of like got together, and I had a blast helping. I think it was 10 girls that day, and it was natural. So from there, word of mouth, I started trying different things. I did social media managing for a little bit. I did strategy. I did a lot of different things. And then I found my niche on video content filming because I really love showcasing that spark, that vibe. And why I got focused into that, it was because people kept telling me with my own content, like, I really love your energy. That was the comment that I would get every single time. Love your energy, love your energy, love your energy. And I'm like, great, you love my energy. That's awesome. I'm growing in here, but how can I help others do this? Because I see a lot of you out there not bringing out your energy. And for me, it's like super easy. Like, why are you not doing it?
Yeah.
So I started like thinking about that and working with people that it was kind of hard for them to be on camera. And that's where it kind of revealed itself, like
Yeah.
how good I am with it and how I could figure out a way, like a system on bringing it out from other people. So yeah, that's the story.
I think you were totally in your lane now. You are absolutely there. And you can see, I feel like when you see the entrepreneur has met their lane and found their magic, you can see like the glow in it come differently because
Oh, thank
you
you.
can so naturally just talk about it and you embody it versus
Mm.
if sometimes when I feel like it doesn't align, it's like, it's almost like a forced feeling of
Yeah.
like you trying to convince yourself. It's like, this is what my business is going to be because I love it so much. But in your head, you're like, but do I? Like, do I love this? It's just so different than when you fully like align into what you want to
Mhm.
do. I feel like as entrepreneurs, times women, but also men, we misunderstand what content needs to be. We overcomplicate it, right?
Mhm.
Or we get in our own head about what it needs to look like. Or we put a lot of pressure on ourselves on like what we need to say and how we need to show up.
Mhm.
What do you think is like one of the big things that's misunderstood about the industry of creating content inside your business? And like what's something that entrepreneurs can do to kind of feel less of that pressure?
Uh, let's see. Things that are misunderstood. One thing is you have to be perfect. You don't. Yes, I do VIP content days where I make sure that everything's perfect for
Sure, but
you.
that's why we hire you.
But exactly. But if you're doing it on your own, not everything needs to be perfect. The whole thing that I will want you to practice is the habit of showing up on camera. It's a habit. You have to create it. It's not easy at first. It wasn't even easy for me when I first
Mhm.
started. I had to do it over and over and over and over and over again for me to be super easy and just get a shot in like 30
Mhm.
seconds. I literally made a reel this morning talking in like 10 minutes. So, what it would have taken maybe an hour or so to somebody else, but it's because I've practiced it so many times that it's natural now.
Yeah.
So one thing, that will be the first thing. Don't focus on perfection, focus on building the habit.
Mm.
Also, because people want to see you, and the more often they see you, the better it is for them to remember you as the person that
Yeah.
does that specific thing that
Yeah.
you do. And it builds the relationship. So another thing is vulnerability. And this is something I also struggle with because I usually can talk about anything, but there are a couple of things that feel vulnerable for me. And that's what it is. It's whatever feels vulnerable
Mhm.
for you because it could be something really random that anybody else is like, that's easy to talk about.
Yeah.
But if it feels vulnerable to you, then that means that you should be talking about that because that's the thing that other people that have gone through the struggle are going through as well. They're feeling it as well. So when you say it, it doesn't make you look like you don't know what you're talking about, that you're not the expert. It makes you look like a human, like
And
an expert that's also a human.
and that's truly all we wanna do is connect with other
Yeah,
humans.
we want to relate. And that's
Mhm.
actually huge for 2026.
Mm.
Be less polished and just show up, you know? Yes, you need your branded stuff,
Sure.
but you also have to balance it with some content that is you and just, you know, less polished,
Yeah.
less edited, less any of that. It
Thank goodness that is a trend for this year. That even makes it even less pressure.
Yeah, because people want to relate to you, right? And then the third thing I will talk about is if you want to get leads with content, you need to be consistent. And
That word.
consistency not only on your cadence, on how much you post, how often you post,
Uh-huh.
but also on your messaging. And that's a big thing because I see people constantly, clients come to me telling me, like, I do this, this, and this. I just don't know how to put it together. And I end up talking about all this other stuff.
Yeah.
And it's just like, doesn't seem cohesive. And I go to their page and I'm like, yeah, I'm pretty lost in here.
Yeah.
What do you actually do? Because I can't tell.
Yeah.
There's like singing and there's drawing and then there's improv.
Yeah.
So what is it that you do? You know? So but it's funny because when you ask, people will tell you and I'll be like, oh, well that makes sense. You need to show that on your
Yeah.
content.
Yeah.
So consistency on messaging, and then also on your cadence of how much you post. And how do you achieve that is with strategy. You have to have a strategy. You can't just go in and just post whatever comes to mind. A strategy is very helpful, mostly if you're posting for your business and
Yeah.
building a personal brand,
Yeah.
because a personal brand lets people into your life, but also lets them see not only like your personal life, but also your business life,
Yeah.
and how do you help people, right? So yeah, consistency and implementing systems for consistency. I think it's really important because as entrepreneurs, we have so many things that we juggle constantly that systems are the most important thing to be able to hit those tasks, because if not, you're not going to get it done. You need to have systems and have fun with it. That's my rule.
You
Have
know,
fun with
your
it
girl
always.
loves that word. I
Yes.
do love a system. I've to scale and to grow and be consistent. The system is what allows us to do that.
It is. Yes,
I
it is.
obviously totally relate. And look, we all fall off our systems, which I think we were both just talking about, like
Yeah.
that. And I feel this in my heart. When I fall off my systems, I don't feel aligned or like I can fully show up in my business. And we were
Hmm.
just talking about this, that your mastermind that you have relaunched into this year, you were saying you had such a great launch with it last year. It's so good.
Hmm.
It energized you and you've been thinking and already wanting to put it back out into the world, but you have fallen off your own system. So it's not
Hmm.
making you feel confident
Hmm.
with your own launch. And I wanted to bring this up because I think in a social media world, talking about being vulnerable, everything
Hmm.
we do on the outside is so perfect. And just because you're a social media content fairy doesn't mean you can't fall off.
Oh yeah, for
Right. And
sure.
just because I'm systems and community doesn't mean I can't have bad days and fall off. We
Yeah.
we all do. And more often than not, to be honest.
And that's actually what makes it obvious that, oh, that's why I use that system.
Hmm.
That's why I follow the system, because when I'm on the system, I'm confident about what I'm doing because I have a strategy behind it.
Yeah.
And whenever I fall off, I'm not confident anymore
Yeah.
because I don't have anything to like back me up.
Yeah.
So it makes total sense. It brings confirmation
Yeah.
on the system.
It does. And it's equally, we were also talking about how, and I think we've all talked about this a lot, especially in the community recently, about how we are creators and we want to
Hmm.
create new things and shiny object center. Oh, she's doing, oh, I
Hmm.
want to do something like that. Oh, a retreat. Oh, I want to do that. Right. Like we all want to do that and do all of the things. Podcast. Hello, we're here, which is why it took me so long to do this. Cause I was like, I need to wait until the time is right to where I have the space to do this
Yeah.
because it is so important to be consistent in our businesses and our brands to market those products we already have that are really fucking good. Like you
Hmm.
have some like 3 really solid offers. And so we were talking about how like this year is your year to like stay in the lane and just like
Exactly.
market those 3 offers and just keep
Hmm.
going out into the world with those 3 offers. And so I wanted to talk about this to where like where did that kind of all of a sudden start to click in for you
Hmm.
over the last year, this year that like I have this. I need to stop throwing spaghetti at the wall. Like I need to just talk about what I've already built. That's good. It's just we don't talk about it enough because
Yeah.
marketing is the hard part.
Yeah. Yeah. So I'm the kind of person that just tries new things all the time. And you will see me like throwing stuff on my stories sometimes that I just practice. Like I'll just throw it in there and see like, let's see how people react. And if I see like a good reaction, I'll make it into a reel. That's
Yeah,
like my soundboard.
that's
But
a good
yeah, like
idea.
yeah. But yeah, we fall off our systems, and that's okay. The minute that, well, the time where I kind of figured out I needed to stick with the offers that I already had is when I was looking at my finances and looking at like what brought the biggest ROI. And then I realized that I didn't have repeatable things because I kept just coming up with a new thing and a new thing and accommodating and accommodating.
Mhm.
And it was exhausting, right? And it was a lot. And I couldn't really see what did I do the most of
Yeah,
because I just did a bunch of different things. So for me, that made me realize like, okay, I need to have a system for this too. And the fact that I was doing so many different things, I think was also confusing people
mhm.
because people were asking me like, wait, I thought you did this. Well, you also do this? Do you also do this? Like, how about this? And I'm like, oh my God, this is too much. And this is what I advise my clients on too. Like
Mhm,
when you start talking about too many things, you confuse
mhm.
people. But if you talk about the same things over and over again, then you are becoming well known for those same
Yeah,
things. And it builds recognition and it and it also builds your brand. So that's where I realized, like, okay, I need to focus on the ones that, one, I love the most doing,
Yes. So important.
and
Mhm.
two, bring the biggest ROI.
Yeah.
Because you want to make sure that both of those things are hit. Because if you're just doing things that you love, but it's like barely anything coming in, you're not gonna be happy about it eventually.
Yeah.
Like, we're talking about sustainability here, right? So I picked those, and now I have my 3 go-to offers. And I told myself this year, consistency on the offers, on the messaging, on the systems, on everything.
Yeah.
And I told myself I'm gonna talk about these 3 offers all the time and keep it there, not make any more.
We're gonna hold you accountable.
Yes, please.
But equally, I need people to hold me accountable because it's similar. Think I often reflect on this and like, why do I get weird about remarketing something I've already done? Or why do I
Hmm.
feel like some, pushback on things rather than creating something new? And I think it's when you create something new, you're in the creation mode. And so you can kind of move past that fear of what if they don't like it? What if they don't buy it again? And
Hmm.
with new offers, it's either you almost give yourself this excuse, well, if they don't buy it again, it was a new offer, it didn't work, or if they buy it, they loved it.
Hmm.
But then when you go to remarket and resell it, it's almost like, but can I do that again? Now,
Mm.
can I do that again? And I will be honest, in terms of Bizz Bitch second year, I'm like, can I do this again? Can I have the success I had last year in this year, International Women's Day? Can I do that again? And it's like I felt so much excitement with launching the podcast because it was new, something
Hmm.
to create again. But with International Women's Day, I'm like, ooh,
It's
can I
almost
do
more
this again? It's
pressure.
more pressure than it was
Isn't
last
it
year.
funny how it's more pressure for us? I think it's because we're entrepreneurs.
Yes.
Because most people, the thing that brings the pressure is trying something new,
Yeah.
doing something new. But we're so used to always pivoting and trying different
Yeah.
things because you have to as an entrepreneur, that when we get to the things that we've been really working for and we finally have it, we don't notice it right
Yeah.
away because the whole time we've been pivoting, we've been like creating something new. So it's just like we are in this, the normal
Yeah.
is now the new
Yeah.
and not what you've already created. And that's where I had to kind of stop, give myself a pause and be like, wait, these are great offers that I've already created. Why am I not sticking with this?
Yeah.
Like, there needs to be a consistency here, or I'm just going to get burned out,
Yeah.
always creating something new,
Yeah. Because now all you get to do is focus on the marketing and making that
Exactly.
offer so much stronger rather than creating the whole entire offer again,
Yeah.
which I think there's so much excitement in that because it just makes it better and you can show up for your clients better.
Yeah.
So that being said, tell us more about the Content Freedom Mastermind for 2026.
Okay.
That and also your content days and what you're doing this year.
Okay, yeah. So the Content Mastermind is a 3 to 4 month mastermind. I'm kind of keeping it open between 3 to 4 months because sometimes it runs a little longer, but then sometimes it just stays at 3. But basically, I take you through the whole process of content creation, starting from branding, strategy, planning, filming, editing, analytics, which are super important and people usually don't look at, and repurposing even. Because I want to make sure that we are making the most with the content that we get because we are busy people and we want to make sure that we are amplifying our message in an easy way, right? And repurposing is that. So we look at all of the stages of content creation and then I teach you my signature system and then we align it to you in your time, in your capacity and all of that. So because your lifestyle is different than mine and the whole point is sustainability and I want you to keep doing it. So that's what we do in the 3 months. So we actually like plan your content. We give you all of the templates, the tools that you might need, all the ChatGPT prompts that I use that are very specific because I've done this a lot of times, and all the Canva templates that I have, anything that I have available, I'll give it to you. I have a lot of tutorials because I want to make it easy. I want to make it super easy. And then you also have me in your pocket on the DMs through the whole 3 months to ask any questions because sometimes you just have like a quick little question and that just completely stops you.
Yeah, it's so true.
And I can just answer it really quick and
Yeah.
you can keep going because we need to hit the quotas, right? I also give homework, so you're practicing all of it. Um, and then that way you build this habit. That's the whole point of build a habit of consistency.
Yeah.
So once you graduate, you are keeping that
Yeah.
consistency.
And the accountability.
And the accountability,
Yeah.
because it's not only you, it's a group coaching container. So it's up to 5 people in the coaching container, and you get to learn from other people as well because everybody has questions and
Yeah.
so yeah, it's a really fun thing that I'm really excited about because I get to show people the behind the scenes on how to create and letting them know it can be easy
Yeah.
if you have the right tools and the right support.
Yeah. And it's funny because I feel like as entrepreneurs, we have this weird thing when we're first getting started that we have to know it ourselves first. We have to figure it out. We have
Mhm.
to master it first before we can bring anyone else or hire somebody else. And I don't know if that's a scarcity mindset thing, money mindset, or just like this feeling like I need to know before someone else can be better at this than me, which
Mhm.
is so opposite, I think, than when you get to a level where you play bigger, or to be really honest, where men are playing and they're like, fuck this. I'm going to go find all the people who know to do all these things, and I'm going to direct the traffic and
Yeah.
see who wants to be in my world and learn from them and let them do it so I can get there faster. Is when it's like we almost have something to prove, and I hate it
Yeah.
because guilty as charged. It's like just bring someone who can show it to you to make it easier for you so then you can jump
Yeah.
in and be better at it. Yeah.
Like you don't even need a full on social media manager
Yeah.
because I'm literally giving you the whole system that you can just hand to someone and they take care of it,
Yeah.
once you know it. So that is also a huge value to the content mastermind. And I call it content freedom because I want to give you the freedom. I want to give you your time back. I
Yeah.
want to make it fun for you and make it you see that content can be part of your life and it's not another task that you need to do.
Yeah. I want to touch on that because the few emails I've gotten since after the content day, which I'm
Oh yeah.
sure are part of your strategy, just know they do not go ignored. I am
Okay.
like, what am I doing with this video? I do have these videos. I need to go use these videos because I don't want them to go to waste. Like, even around the holidays, like, I got too into the holiday vibe, and it's like I feel like that's like wasted content to me for this last year because they're all Christmas themed. But like everything else before that, it's like, oh, I can still use those. I can still use those. And I'm like, oh, I wish I would have used the holiday videos more because they were so cute and so
Well,
much fun.
save it for
Oh,
next
I mean,
year.
exactly. At least now I can get ahead of it for next
Oh
year, and I
yeah, for
totally
sure.
will. But it's just like knowing you have those and those little email reminders of like, what are you doing with your videos? I'm like, I don't know. What am I doing with my video? Like,
Yeah.
I'm doing my best to like mix it in all together. So it's the accountability piece, I think, is such
Yeah.
a secret sauce to like
It's
what you're
also
doing. Thank you so much for today's
mm,
conversation. I loved it so, so much. So before we leave this space and the beautiful people listening, where can they find you? Where's a way to connect with you?
socials on Instagram is the best way. I hang out there all the time. I love posting on Instagram. I love hanging out on Instagram. I love DMing people. So
True. She's a great DM cheerleader.
yeah, I'm always
And a
there.
comment.
And
She's
I'll
fantastic
watch
to
your
have in your corner.
stories.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll watch your stories and I'll be like, "Oh, girl, that could be a reel."
Yeah.
Like I will tell you, I hang out in there a lot, so make sure that you go to Dalia for Reels. Also starting a YouTube channel, so I'm hoping to post there a little more. Same Dalia for Reels, and daliaforreels.com is where you'll see all of my stuff that's happening at the moment. And then, and about Social Content Day, I'm gonna be holding them quarterly. So people can come in and take part of that. But whenever there is no content day, I have a VIP content day, which is the one-on-one where we do 3 hours and I film all of it. And at the end, you come out with 3 reels that showcase one, your introduction, to your mission, like your why, your story, and 3, your services. And these are meant for you to pin them on the top of your
smart.
Instagram profile.
Yeah.
So that way when people come in, they see them in there. And I do this thing where I do like an interview style where I ask you all these questions. But when I edit the reels, I also use the B-roll videos that we got during the session.
Fun.
So it's fun and engaging, and it's not just you're looking at a camera and just
Yeah.
saying words.
Yeah.
It's like people get to see what's actually happening
Yeah.
while you're talking. So I think this is really important. So when people land on your profile, immediately they can see all of that,
Yeah.
right? So and that's what happens on VIP Content Day.
It's like a walking, moving website, but like on social
Yeah.
media. And
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
so important. Well, thank you so much for today. You truly are an embodiment of what the joy content fairy
Thank
means
you.
and confidence and community in this space, and also just having like a really warm, welcoming heart. So I appreciate you on the podcast today and sharing a little bit about your story and how you got here and how to help all of us just, show up better in the content world, our businesses in 2026, because it is a muscle. And I agree, we all have to work on
Yeah.
it.
And well, one last thing I want to say is people want to see you. People need your message. Show up. Social media is free.
Yeah.
So show up. It's needed. People need to hear it. You're here to create an impact in this world.
That's a perfect way to end it. Well, thank you so much, bitches, for listening, for coming into our world. If you liked this podcast episode, please like, review, subscribe, download. Also, in the comments in my DMs, tell me what you want to hear more of. Who do you want to hear more topics about? I am here to create these conversations and these stories of these women for you and for us, and also secretly a little bit for me. It is like a big dose of just business development on my side and getting to learn even more. So, thank you so much for coming and tuning into another episode. Bye, bitches.